Hey everybody, hope your day's going well. I've decided today, after having posted close to 20 videos by now, it's time for me to talk about something that is pretty uncomfortable. I'm not going to edit. I've already said that. I don't edit my videos. I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to post this, but I'm going to try to just open up about this. And it's probably going to be the most difficult video I've made so far. And it's about the moment I realized that I am not immortal. I mean, logically, we all know that someday we're going to die, but I think everybody has a moment where something changes to the point where if you haven't reached that moment yet, I don't know if I can say that I envy you because my perspective has changed in a way that is positive. I guess some of my perspectives, you could say, have changed to be more positive, and others I'm not angry, more disappointed, I would say. But I'll start from the beginning, not the very beginning, of course. And this is not going to be the only video I post about this. So if I leave out some details, then maybe I'll eventually come back to them in another video. I don't know that it's helpful to go into a lot of details. I'm going to speak more big picture, but I moved to Las Vegas in August of last year, which was 2025. And I was having some symptoms at that time, but it was nothing major. And I didn't think it would escalate to the point that it did. It turns out at that time, after much research and going to many dermatologists, I shouldn't say many dermatologists, after trying many treatments, going to a couple of dermatologists, I realized that I had psoriasis, which, as you may know, is an autoimmune disorder. It doesn't just affect the skin. And it took me a little while to get diagnosed. By October, my skin symptoms were pretty bad. And after having tried several treatments, I decided to ask my dermatologist, the second one that I had seen, to put me on Skyrizi, and he did. And Skyrizi it's an injectable. It would cost 20 something thousand dollars a shot. Luckily, I'm getting some financial assistance with that, which I don't like either. I don't like being dependent on a drug company, but this is a drug that would cost 20 something thousand dollars a shot, and I have to take 4 times a year to keep these symptoms in line. And I've tried other things. I've tried diet. It's so frustrating when you go online and people say all you have to do is change your diet. It's a lot more complicated than that. And so, like I said, I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but at that time, the Skyrizi started working for the psoriasis. Skin symptoms cleared up, but some other things I noticed that were kind of masked before. If you have an autoimmune disease or if you know much about them, they don't typically just come by themselves. And so I did have some other issues that were, I noticed before I actually got on Skyrizi, I was having some issues with my liver that were unexplainable because I've always been really healthy. I don't drink or smoke or anything like that. I even, within the last year before that, I totally gave up caffeine. So I've been pretty healthy for my whole life. Well, as an adult, I mean, as a kid, of course, I ate a lot more fast food and stuff like that, but I've been pretty healthy, but my liver is like an alcoholic's liver or even worse at this point. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So at that time, I was having other symptoms like swollen submandibular glands or lymph nodes. Doctors call them different things. And you can't really see them now. They're actually still swollen, but I grew hair over them. Got kind of the neck beard thing going on here. just so that I don't have to look at them, so other people don't have to look at them. And you might not even notice, even if I didn't have it. It's not that extreme. It's just different, and I notice it. But where was I? Where am I here? So, okay, I was having the swollen submandibular glands. I had a lot of other symptoms that did not seem to be related to psoriasis at the time, and they were all skin related, like with, well, not all, because some were sicca symptoms. With my eyes were extremely dry. My mouth was extremely dry. I had the angular cheilitis, other stuff going on too. So I thought I might have Sjogren's disease. I just researched as much as I could with the help of AI. I started doing my own blood tests, basically asking doctors to do certain blood tests. And one of the things that kept coming up with my symptoms when I was checking into this was IgG4 related disease, or it's called sometimes IgG4RD. And it's autoimmune related or immune mediated. They haven't even completely decided if it's really an autoimmune disease, I don't think. But it's related to the subsets, we have immunoglobulin subsets in our bodies that fight diseases and do different things. And when number 4 is elevated, it tends to do bad things to your organs. And it's basically, long story short, like I said, I'm not going to go into a lot of details about it. And it's not even, biology isn't even my thing. So I wouldn't even be able to explain it, right? That's one of the things that is frustrating, is that now I have to learn about something that I didn't really want to. It was not, biology was never my thing. So I had to get something that's so complicated that doctors don't even know what it is really in most cases. But anyway, it can cause fibrosis on different organs. And it's apparently, other than my lymph nodes or submandibular glands, it's doing things to my kidney and livers. My kidneys and liver, I should say. So backtracking, I had done the test for Sjogren's and just trying to figure out what it is that was going on with me at the time, because I was having all these symptoms. I was extremely fatigued, and the swollen glands that wouldn't go away was the thing that really got me looking to see what's going on. And after several blood tests, I was able to get a doctor to do the IgG4 test. And when that finally came back, the moment, I think that I don't know if it was that moment that I realized that I was immortal, but it was a lot changed in that moment when I looked at that blood test and saw that my IgG4 numbers were in the red, that they were elevated. And that was, like, at that time, the worst case scenario for me, because I had looked and hoped it was one thing and then hoped it was something else that was worse, and then all the way down the line to IgG4 related disease. And what's frustrating with this is I keep hearing how early diagnosis is so important, but I haven't even been diagnosed yet, because doctors don't know what it is, or they don't take it that seriously. And even my first rheumatologist, and rheumatologists are supposed to be the ones that treat this, I had researched. And it's so frustrating in Las Vegas to try to find a specialist, because you have to get a referral, and sometimes a referral is not even acceptable. They want detailed notes from your primary doctor. So I went through all that. I found a rheumatologist that I wanted to go to after the research I had done. He was supposed to be the number 1 rheumatologist in Las Vegas to treat IgG4 related disease. And I get there and he starts asking me questions about my psoriasis. And so I answered them, patiently waited, and he was going to dismiss me. And I said, that's not what I'm here for. And when I told him my symptoms and that I suspected having IgG4 related disease, he basically told me he didn't treat that. And so another wait, and I finally get to another rheumatologist who is not so familiar with it, but agreed to treat it. However, By that time, I had asked my primary care physician to put me on prednisone, because that's like, prednisone is a temporary fix. The disease does respond to prednisone. However, obviously, for those of you who know about prednisone, you can't stay on that for long term. So, but I wanted to do something because it had been several months and I just wasn't getting answers. And so I asked my primary to put me on prednisone. There was another drug that I tried too in the meantime that didn't work out because it caused all kinds of weird things to happen to my blood. The prednisone basically did cause the IgG4 levels to go down, but it didn't help much of anything else. So, and some things even got worse. And the side effects of prednisone are horrible. If you can, you should stay away from that. But by that time, I went to see the second rheumatologist, who basically didn't think it was a good idea for me to go on prednisone before I was officially diagnosed. So waiting to get that to finish with my tapered off the prednisone, it basically did lower my IgG4 levels, but as I said, it didn't help much of anything else. And I'm drawing a blank. I'm going into a lot of details here, but long story short, I'm still, what is it, mid-August now, and the symptoms, the gland symptoms started in February. So it's been that long and I still haven't been diagnosed. I have tried to get a CT scan. My insurance wouldn't cover that. And then the kidney doctor that originally ordered it, by the time I got back to a follow-up, my kidney numbers had gotten like just above normal level, the EGFR. So basically, he said from a kidney standpoint, he couldn't see the point of even trying to get a CT scan. Long story short, here I am going into a lot of details, and I said I wouldn't do that. I have an appointment with an ENT coming up, and that's what I'm hoping I can get the CT scan of my submandibular glands and maybe a biopsy that can be more definitive. I do still have a little bit of hope that it's not what I have, but it can be pretty serious. And my liver and kidney numbers are not looking so good. So basically, I'm trying to figure out in the treatment. I guess the reason I haven't been fighting harder than what I have been fighting to get a diagnosis is because the treatment isn't so promising anyway. It's extremely expensive. I'm not sure if they would do it with me being on Skyrizi already. I might be able to get the funding, but even if I were to be able to get the treatment, it basically kills my immune system so that my body stops attacking itself. So basically, this is a progressive illness that is causing fibrosis on my organs. If I have what I suspect, what I believe I have, and most people don't even get diagnosed until they're in the hospital and need stents in their kidneys or liver transplant or dialysis, things like that. There are some things that I've decided that I will not do just because of the quality of life. And it's frustrating because I keep hearing how important an early diagnosis is, but then when I look online for testimonials, doctors talk like it's just no big deal. Yeah, by the time I saw this person, he had stents in his kidneys, and just so many things go wrong. Like the pancreas stopped producing. He was already diabetic. His pancreas looked like a sausage, and he is now unable to produce any kind of digestive enzymes forever. There's things that happen to your organs that if you don't get early enough treatment, they're irreversible. And so it's looking like that's what's going to happen to me. I mean, I've got an appointment with a rheumatologist at UNLV coming up, and an appointment with an ENT coming up. So I'm working on getting my diagnosis the best ways that I can. I mean, maybe there's other things I can do, but I don't know that it's worth it, because my health insurance only covers Nevada, and I've looked all over Nevada to find the best ways to treat this. I could go out of state, but from what I'm seeing, I would have to pay out of pocket for one thing, and I don't even know that that would work out. I don't even know some of these specialists, like the one that I had looked at online, wants to see results from a CT scan first before he will see anybody. And the diagnosis process is so difficult. So what can I do? Go to another state and wait to go through this whole process for several months? And I just don't think it's worth the effort. I think I'm going to stay here and see what I can have done here in Las Vegas, unless something else comes up. That's the plan right now. But circling back to the original point, is this has caused me to realize my own mortality. And when I got the blood test back first, that was the shock. It's like, okay, I have this thing that's serious. It's going to change my life, and nothing's ever going to be the same. And the symptoms that I'm having right now, as I said, if you saw me, you might not even know there was anything wrong with me. I mean, you see me now, and people who've seen me before might not even notice. Additionally, I'm recovering from a hernia surgery I had also, but that's going as well as it can be, all other things considered. The liver and kidney issues, and there's other things going on with my blood. Like I've been anemic now, and there's other stuff going on too. But I have extreme fatigue, so I'm tired a lot and not able to do all the things that I was able to do before I moved here. I mean, everything changed so quickly, it seemed like. But in some ways, I know this seems very negative, but in some ways, I have a better peace of mind, because it's been said that you can have a million problems, but when you have a health problem, you have one problem. So all the other little petty things in my life don't seem as important. And when I was on prednisone, it also, I mean, the Skyrizi compromises my immune system. The prednisone made it that much worse. So I was pretty much confined to my condo for that 3 months. I prepared everything so that I didn't really have to leave. And it's caused me to have a strange peace of mind that I've never had before. And I was becoming, I guess, less social before all this even happened anyway, but that was kind of the icing on the cake, that I don't need a lot of social interaction. And it's caused me to focus on, with knowing that my time on earth may be shortened, as disappointing as that can be, because there's a lot of other things I wanted to do that I'm seeing that probably not going to be able to do now. As disappointing as that is, it's caused me to focus on other things that I can do and things that are important to me, that I can still have a good life. I mean, there's still things I can work out still. I can still do some things. I just cannot think of, like, the plans that I had before. I can't go into that state of mind, because that can be really depressing. Or I'm going to have to stop comparing myself to the person that I was before as things continue to change. I don't know what's going to happen with my liver and kidneys, but as I said, there's some things that, if they tell me, the doctors act like it's no big deal if you need stents put in, but if they tell me something like that, or I need to go on dialysis, or I need a liver transplant or a kidney transplant, for me, that's going to be like a death sentence. And no offense to anybody who has had those things done. If you have done that, I hope that you have a quality of life that is reasonable. And for me, it's difficult. I know I'm kind of not practicing what I preach here, because I say our bodies are just a vessel for our spirits, and they wear down, and sometimes different time, all different times, sometimes different, at different paces than what we expect, I could say. But I was handling growing older okay. Like I was handling not being able to do the things that I used to do and quote unquote normal aging stuff. But this was just too much too soon. And for me, I have based a lot of my identity around my health. So I feel like there's a certain level of that when that goes, I personally will not accept, and it's probably not something I'm supposed to talk about here, but I will take myself out of this world before I will accept some major changes in quality of life, because life to me is about not so much about the quantity of years as the quality of years. And if I make that decision, that's going to be 100% my rational decision. And but I still have some hope, and I still have a good quality of life right now. So I'm focusing on that, and I think I still have some time, because it's, from what I've read, from what I understand, it's not an extremely quickly progressing illness anyway. And I may end up getting some treatment that stops all that before it gets worse. But I'm not going to add more stress to my life by being, I mean, at first I was so frantic. I would go into doctors' offices and so adamant, and just explaining everything and sending emails and trying to send all of my blood work to new doctors. And I've hit so many walls with that. It's really changed my view of the medical industry too. And I've realized that doctors, I won't say I've seen a lot of bad doctors, but they are really forced, I guess, by their environment and their career to see a lot of patients. And a doctor can be a great doctor until you have something seriously wrong with you. And that's like, what are they going to do? Spend a lot of time on this one patient when there's several other patients that they know how to treat and they know what to do for them? I can't necessarily blame the doctors. I was the lucky one to get this rare disease, which I'm not even completely sure that I have. And that's an uncertainty that's frustrating also. But I think it's like 5 in every 100,000 people get it. It's extremely rare. And so that's why they don't, even doctors in medical school, they don't spend a lot of time learning about it. And anyway, I think I've given enough information for this video, even though there's a lot more to say. And I've had my crutch here with me. One thing I can still do is play guitar, play the blues. And I think that having a sad life makes me a better guitarist. I guess the worse or the more challenges we have in life, the better our artistic expression is going to be. So let me do this. I'll go out like this. Thanks for listening. See you next time.